Hello. Recently I came across a design of a cargo connection thing. So what you would do is you would make a modular component, and you would then connect each one of these. You could 3D print each one of these individually and then connect them together. And I thought, how hard would this be to design myself? And so I gave it a try, and yeah, I was pretty successful. I printed out a bunch of samples, and here's the start of it. Okay, so I got 3 pieces here. They slide in and out. I changed the design slightly, so now we got like these little mushrooms of sorts. So these little tabs slide into there and they hold into position, and then you put in your screw. You get your whatever screw you want, and I got it a little bit tight so it's not going to wobble around and not going to fall out. But yeah, so then you would put this on your pegboard or your garage or whatnot. Of course, you'd probably want a little bit smaller screw, but this shows you the screw fits in there. And yeah, so these slide in and out like that. And then we have a rail system here. So this will hold on whatever you want to slide into there, and so they can fit together with a rail system. And I was thinking maybe if you have any areas you want it to stop and have some friction, just create a little bump on the side here. On the picture that I'm showing here, they have some sort of mechanism perhaps that stops it from sliding all the way through very easily. So mine would just be like a crush rib or something raised up that would prevent it. Now I printed out a whole bunch of little pieces, and I was just testing the fit and function. So I came up with the total amount that I would need to for clearance inside of here, and I believe I ended up with 0.5. So I got the piece here, I got a piece here. They slide together, and you want to just enough friction to where it's not going to just fall right out. So this may be dependent on your printer and how good and precise your printer is. My printer is a little older, so it's not as precise as the new stuff that's coming out. But yeah, let's get started in building a modular system. I'm just going to concentrate on this right now. I'm going to build this piece, and then we will, maybe if there's some demand for this, I'll build the rest of the pieces. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to go to my Onshape, my free subscription. Okay, let's go to create document, and we're going to call this modular cargo. All right, I chose to make mine 50 millimeters by 50 millimeters. All right, so we're going to start on the top view right here. We're going to hide our front, so let's click on these two right here. Let's hit Y for hide. And let's get on our top view right now. I'm going to go with the sketch on the top, so click on the top, and we're going to click over here. We're going to go to center point rectangle. Click on that very center point right there, and let's go with about 50 by 50 millimeters, just approximately here. Now we will hit D for dimension, click left, click right. Let's put 50, and then they both adjust to that. Okay, let's slide this guy over. Let's build up one of the little locking tabs. It's going to be 16 millimeters from the center. So let's start with a rectangle here. We're going to go with corner rectangle. I'm just going to click over here, and we're going to create another shape here. We're going to create a circle. It's going to be in the center of this guy, so let's bring that up. See that dotted line? We want to see that. And I'm going to create this circle. I think I want to do about 12. So let's hit D for dimension. Let's click on that. Let's change that to 12. Now we can hit a distance from here to here. Let's say that's 2 millimeters, and all of this can be adjusted. All right, I'm going to add a dimension. We're going to go this point to this point. This is going to be 0, and then we're going to flatten this guy. So we're going to grab a line, hit L. But from here, we can make it longer. L to get out of that, L to start, here to here, L. And now we're going to hit M for trimming. So watch what we're trimming. We're going to trim this edge right here, this edge. We can just click and draw around, okay? Then we're going to click that edge, this, and keeping this, we're going to trim that, and there we are. We're going to change this to a diameter of 6. There we are. Then we're going to hit D for dimension, clicking here. This is going to be 1 millimeter. And this is going to be another 1 millimeter. Yep. Let's get the distance from here all the way over to here. And we wanted to make that 16. Something that I want to do with this, I want to be able to copy this shape right here and move it over. So I'm going to put a line in between here. L for line. So in this case, I will be able to create 2 bodies, this body and then this body. Let's finish this sketch. Okay, let's extrude this. I'm going to go, I'm using my right mouse button for my rotation, and then I can use my middle mouse button to pan. Hold down the middle mouse button, it pans. If you roll the mouse scrolly wheel in and out, it makes a zoom. Okay, let's go with extrude over here. We're going to click on this edge right here. We're going to flip this, and we're going to go down 10 millimeters. Okay. Now, it hid this sketch, so all we got to do is click on this little eyeball. It shows my sketch again. Now we're going to click on this extrude again. We're going to click on this guy. We're going to flip it, going 10 millimeters. And now, we want to go solid new, so we want it to be a brand new piece that's not connected to this piece right here. So there we go. We see it's a different color. That's what we want. Now we're going to move this. We're going to do a transform. Grabbing this guy right here. We're going to move it by X, Y, Z. Let me click on the X, Y, Z. And we're going to go with opposite X. So negative X, negative 32. And we're going to copy that part. So we see a secondary part. Good. All right, so now we got 2 pieces. Now we need to flip these 2 pieces to this side right here. So we're going to do a rotation. So let's go with the transform again. Clicking on this guy and this guy. We're going to click on rotate and copy part. We're going to click on rotate. We are rotating about this axis right here. So let's click the little guy right there. This will make sure that it's facing up like that right there. Now we'll put in 90 degrees. And we can see it goofed it up, but I'm going to fix that in a second. So let's hit OK. And let's go back to our sketch 1. Apparently our sketch 1 is not 50 by 50. I thought for sure it would have fixed it. Anyway, let's fix that now. Here to here, 50. So always confirm. That's a lot of numbers. 50, buddy. And enter. There we go. Now it's looking a little better. Now we're going to finish this sketch again. And there you see it automatically updated, which is pretty cool. Now we are going to mirror these about themselves into the center here. So let's go with the mirror function. We're going to click on mirror. Right here. We're going to click on our piece 1, piece 2. Mirror plane is going to be this guy right here. Right, we're going to say OK, and we're going to go make sure it says new, not add. New will actually create a new part. So this part 7 and part 6 are the new bodies. Okay, so now we want to do an offset of these faces now. So what I would like to do is let's hide this guy right here. We're going to left click on that guy, hit Y. There we are. Now we're going to take one side of this, so this side right here, and this side right here, we're going to offset, and we're going to make those thicker. So we're going to go over here to the thicken, and the reason for this is I want to have a gap between the, what it's fitting into. Otherwise, it'd be so tight you won't be able to get it in. All right, so first, I actually want to create a variable. What a variable does is it allows you to put a name with a number. So you could say this, I'm going to call this variable offset, and then offset equals blank distance, and then we can do that. So here is a variable. So I'm going to say variable name is gap. All right, and gap is 0 right now, but I'm going to make gap 0.8. Now you can make this whatever you want. I just made it gap 0.8. So I'm going to move this up. Doesn't have to go up, but I just want to keep it up on top. So if you ever want to change this, you know, you could 3D print to several different versions of this, like I did. You know, I printed 0.3, 0.5, 0.8, and I found 0.8 to be the best. Okay, so now I will go to my thicken command, and I will click on these outside edges here. We can see it's just getting huge, but I'm going to put gap. I'm going to type in gap, G-A-P, and it automatically said gap equals 0.8. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. Okay, click on this edge, click on that edge. We could see it grew already. We can click a green check, and we could see that it's good to go. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing with this guy right here. We could either create a copy of this, or we can just simply do thicken again. Let's do thicken again. So we're going to go with gap, type in here, gap, enter, and we're going to click on our faces to apply the gap. There we are. Forgot one face. Let me double click on that thicken, and click on that face right there. Okay. Looks like I forget the face on the first one too. All right. So click on, wait a second, that face right there. There we go. Yeah, they look pretty good. All right, I'm going to find that first part. Let's re-show that. I'm going to use my circular pattern to do this one now. So watch what circular pattern is. First of all, why to get out of that? I'm going to go to that transform, and I'm going to get rid of that transform. I just want to have these 4 items right now. So I just deleted the previous one. So I'm going to go with the circular pattern. Click on here, circular pattern. We are going to click on our entities to pattern. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Not this guy. Axis of pattern. We're going to click this little select mate connector, that guy. Clicking right there when I see that. You can see already populated, which is great. It did 360 for instances. New part pattern. Okay. Equal spacing. Everything's good there. Green check. All right. We got a whole bunch of parts in here. So now we are going to keep. You can see now we got 2 pieces on the top and 2 pieces on one of the sides. So that's all we got to do is keep the same. So we're going to have recess, 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 and then protruding the rest. Okay. So we're going to click on this guy. We're going to delete this guy. So we can go over here to delete part. Where's my delete? This guy. We're going to go over here to delete part right here. Clicking on that guy. We're going to delete a few of these outside edges. Clicking that guy, this guy, and this guy. And then we're going to remove the inner parts. First, let's hit that delete part right there. Okay, get rid of those. And now we're going to delete these guys right here. So let's hit delete part again. Let's go in and find these. We got to zoom in a little bit. We only want to highlight that guy. 1, 2, 3. See how it's highlighted, that one. I know which one it's choosing, and then I got this guy right there. 4. Perfect. Delete. Okay. So now we can do a subtraction boolean. We're going to hit subtract. My target is this guy. My tools are these. 1, 2, 3. See, it's actually selecting the whole piece, but I can fix that in a second. This guy and this guy. See how it got rid of my preview? So I'm going to go over here to part 1 and delete part 1. See that? Part 1 is the whole body. I don't want to subtract the whole body from the whole body. So I got only these chunks out of here. Okay. And now we got to union the other ones to this. So we're going to go union, tools. It all is the same pretty much. I get pan over and get this guy. Okay. So now we see we have one part. Perfect. And if we want to change that gap, we just simply go over here and we go, ooh, it didn't fit or it's way too loose. So I just hit 0.5 and hit enter and everything changes back. Now, if I want 0, I can change it to 0 too. You know, this is all dependent on your printer. Like I said, my printer, I want to keep it 0.8. Okay. And things will slide in smoothly. And that hole right there in the center that I will create in a second, it will hold it into place. Okay. So now let's go with that hole. Let's start the hole size. It's going to be a 3.5 diameter hole. So I'm going to go over to, I'm going to create a sketch on top of this guy right here. And I'm going to put a hole right here. And see how it didn't select that point right there? No problem. I'm going to fix that in a second. So I'm going to hit, just clicked outside of there, hit D for dimension. We're going to click on that guy and we're going to hit the 3.5, enter. Okay, and now we want to match this dot up with this, and that thing will turn black, which means it's fully constrained. So I'm going to click on this coincident right here, click on the little dot, click on that dot, and then you see it turn black and it moved automatically, which is great. Perfect. All right, so finish this sketch, and now we're going to go over to hole, right over here. There's hole. And we're going to click on this guy right here. We are going to put in the hole. So my drill size is 4.5 millimeters. All right, so my screw size, here's my screw size. I'm going to measure it with my calipers. And I have a distance. All right, we're coming up with 8 millimeters distance here for my screw head. All right, and so the diameter of this screw is 3. I made it 3.5. So we're going to go with the drill size of 4.5. So we're going to have plenty of clearance around this. And then the top of it is 8.5. It's bigger than the 7.9 dimension that we got earlier. So we'll put this in. We're going to do a countersink. So it's metric countersink. Sketch of this, part 1 at 90 degree. Okay, let's hit OK. So it creates our hole. All right, so next we're going to work on the holders of the piece. So let's create that guy right now. So we will put it in this way right here. So let's go create a sketch on this face right here. So we're going to hit sketch, click on that face right there, and we're going to hit right to get that normalized. All right, so now we're going to build our first side. We're going to build one side and then build the other side. So let's go with a box first. We'll just click a box here. Hit D for dimension. Let's start dimensioning this guy. So total height, let's say it's 3 millimeters. And total width is, let's say, 4 millimeters. And from here to here, we're going to put in 6 millimeters, not 60. We're going to put in 6 millimeters. Okay, let's take a look. We can go a little bit further out. Let's go with 7. Yep, that should be good. I actually don't want it interfering with that. So I'll keep it just slight of that. So now we can choose, I can add another rectangle to that edge right there. Let's click right. Let's pull this over too. We're going to click right and we're going to click on this corner rectangle. Click there, click here. Let's hit D for dimension. Here to here is 1 millimeter. Here to here is, let's say, 1.5. Okay, and we're going to create a chamfer from this edge to this edge. So let's hit the L for line, here to here. Now we're going to do some trimming. So let's hit M for trim. Trim this guy, just drag a line through these guys. M to drag to create that trim function. Okay, see how this is blue? That's not fully constrained, but I want to put a little radius, a little fillet on the end of there. Let's click on sketch fillet. Click on this guy, click on that guy, and we gotta adjust this quite a bit. I'm gonna move that in. Ooh, not that guy. Let's move this guy in. Let's make that 0.5. Let's see what 0.5 looks like. Maybe I'll go 0.3. Looks good. I do want to adjust that dimension though. Let's hit our D for dimension. Go here to here, and we're going to change that to 1 millimeter. And if we want to lock this guy in, we can lock that in with an angle. say it's 50 degrees. All right, so that should, let's put a fillet on the back side. Here to here, yep, left click to confirm that, and then enter. Okay, so now we have that general shape. We can adjust this as we want. If we need to make this longer or anything like that, we can do that. Let's hit the D for dimension. I do want to check the dimension from here all the way to here. And it's fully constrained. If I change that, it won't let me. So if I want to get that changed, I'll have to actually click on this guy right here and delete that. And now it will allow me to get longer. Looks good. I think that's good. Let's hit green check. Now let's extrude this all the way to the other side. And we're going to tell it to extrude and stop at the other face. So see, it's facing the wrong way. So I can just click on this triangle right here. And I can flip it. And now I can say, I want to go up to face. And then I can say, which face is this face? So it slid all the way over there. So you see how it's the same color though? I actually want to go with solid new. I want it to be a brand new piece that's sitting on top of there. Let's say okay. And the reason is I want to mirror that about this line right here. But I'll need a plane. I need to create a plane. So let's go over here to plane. Let's click on this face right here. Let's do a flip it. So now it's 25, which is exactly half of our 50, which is perfect. And now we're going to go mirror this guy. So mirror. We're going to click on this guy right here. We're going to mirror against this plane right here. And we can hit new or add or whatever you want. I'm going to click new. Now they're two different parts. I'm going to union both of these together. So let's go to Boolean union. Click this guy, and this guy. Now they're all going to become one part, okay? And of course, if you don't like the size of this, you can always play with that and make it better. But I think for what we need, I think you know, this should work. I would always do trial and error, you know, see if this is going to work for you in your printer and your environment, stuff like that. So what I'm going to suggest is maybe you do a bunch of cut samples like that I did. Okay, I did several. How many did I do? Well, one of them I locked together. I couldn't even get it off. You know, I have to use, you know, an excessive amount of force to get those off. So I don't want to go with that size. So I came up with that 0.8 as my size. Your printer will tell you what you need, but yeah, 0.8 works for me. And you can make your own decision as far as that. I do want to check and see how this fits together. So we can do an instance of this. So let's hide this plane right here. Let's click on there and hit Y. And let's get this on the top view. And I want to show you, you know, we can make several different versions of this, several different copies of this, and then show how it's going to look. So I'm going to change the color of this guy to left click, right click. I'm going to assign a appearance and change the color to like an orange. Okay. There we go. So now any other colors that pop in there, we know they're different. They're like the copy of it. So now I want to go to a linear pattern. I'm going to click on the part pattern, this guy right here, and we're going to move it in this direction right here. We're going to go 50. Okay. And then let's say, okay. Let's copy the color, which is not what I wanted, but anyway, it's okay. So what I want to do now is I want to take this, I want to make a copy down below. Let's go to linear pattern, click in here, this guy, direction, we're going to choose, click on the direction. Now we click on this wall right here, this edge. I'm going to change this to 50. And okay. Now we know that these are different. So let's left click on them, right click on them, assign appearance for the 3, and we can change them to blue. So we know this one here is our master. So, and then watch, this is pretty cool. So now if I go to that gap, double click on the gap and change the gap to 0 and hit this, you'll see that all of our gaps disappeared, which is pretty awesome. So one variable controls all of that. I can hit Control Z to get back out of that. So now we see that our gaps are there. And that concludes our video on the modular cargo piece. So let me know if you have any comments. Let me know if you like this type of content. If you want me to continue on with this type of content and make more of these, we can make the pieces that slide into here. I want to see if there's any demand for this type of video, so let me know. Thanks for watching.